All right, Coach. Friday was what it was. After looking at the tape, what did you like the most?
I thought, we moved the ball really well against a really good defense, probably the best we've seen this year as far as athleticism and speed and size. Defensively, we were in the right spot a lot. We just didn't tackle well, and that was obvious, Friday night, and it was obvious Saturday morning when we watch film. We're just undersized, we're compared to them. And whenever you play someone that big and they've run that kind of offense, it's tough. We have trouble with teams like that. Power teams that are bigger than us, it's going to give us trouble. It's probably going to give anybody trouble. But the effort was good. The energy was good. I thought we traveled good. I thought we played well, except for just not being able to tackle them in space. And, the playing them is tough on us because we just don't match up size-wise in the back end or the front end. So, like they say, you just got to learn what you can get out of it and move on.
I'm not trying to diminish the remainder of your opponents, but how does it feel to kind of have the weight of Weatherford and Euless out there?
Yeah, I think Weatherford and Trinity, two of the better teams. I think everybody's good though. Richland surprised everybody by beating Abilene, and Weatherford's putting points on everybody. Trinity's going to be as good as anybody because of what they do. Haltom is going to be fine. I know Weatherford beat them, but they put a lot of points on Weatherford. And LD Bell, they're 0-2, but they're big and they run an offense, a triple option that's tough to handle. So they'll get their feet back on the ground because that thing is a different animal that you don't see very often. And so it's going to be tough. All of our remaining games, all four of them are going to be knocked down, drag out kind of games, and we're going to have to play well to win them.
Looking at Abilene, they're 2-4, which we're not used to seeing that. Really, they played some really good teams like Lee, Tascosa. Where do you see them?
Well, Abilene's a lot like they always are. They're well coached. Their kids are a lot like our kids. They play extremely hard. They've got some talent. They played some really good teams. Richland is better than their record. They got out on them and kind of held on, and Abilene kind of came back at the end and got a piece, but then they had a trick play at the very end. Richland did and won the game. They have played some really good teams. Midland Lee is exceptional. Tascosa is really good, and Cooper is really good. They're undefeated, Abilene Cooper. So they played a tough schedule, and but after seeing film on them, they've got the same kind of team they've had ever since I've been here, and it's going to be a big game on Friday for both of us because we're both sitting here 1-1, and need to get back on the winning track.
Hey, Coach, I'm sorry, just running on that one question about Abilene. They run, two different quarterbacks and a Wildcat. This is probably something you haven't seen all season. How's the team going to, train or be ready for something?
Well, we've been playing Abilene, almost every year I've been here. There was maybe 1 or 2 years when we were in a Panhandle district that we didn't play them, but they've always ran the Wildcat, and they've always, they haven't always played two quarterbacks, but these two guys they got are real similar to what they've had in the past. They really haven't changed much on offense. They run kind of what they've always ran, and I know they've got a new head coach, Mike Fullen, but Mike's been there for a really long time, and he's been a part of their success since the 90s, and they haven't changed too much, and we're just expecting them to do what we see on film and what we've seen in the past.
You mentioned the change with Coach Fullen. Are you seeing anything different from Del Van Cox and what they were doing in the most recent?
It's not a whole lot. It really isn't. They still want to run the GT and the GF, run it different ways out of different sets. They still like to run the sprint out and the bootleg, and they got two quarterbacks. They got a senior that's got experience, and then they've got a junior that's a little bit more of an athlete, kind of throws it a little bit better, but they're playing both of them, and they're both effective, and it makes it hard to prepare because usually if you're preparing for one guy, you can kind of find out what he's the best at. But these guys they're both really good quarterbacks, and they're real different. And then they, like we said, they also run the Wildcat with their running back. You know, they'll put him back there and have 2 running backs in the backfield. And even Abby, their quarterback, will run the Wildcat too, because he's been playing running back for him some also back when Dotson was hurt. So, you know, they've got a lot of kids that can do a lot of things, and it makes it tough to get ready for them.
And Abilene is really, it's the only traditional rivalry on your schedule this year. You've been playing them for, 100 plus years.
Yeah.
And it's the closest team that you really can play other than Abilene Cooper. So does this kind of make things more interesting? Get
Yeah.
the juices flowing a little more for you and the players?
Oh, I think so, yeah. I mean, Abilene's a big rival. Like you said, we've been playing them for over 100 years. It's a great ball game. I really like playing Abilene High. It's always a tough, hard-fought game, and we're real similar to each other. And like you said, it's our nearest 6A school to us in the state of Texas. We don't get to play right now anyway, the Midlands and the Odessas, so it's always fun to play a rival from the old Little Southwest Conference, and it's a big game. It's a big district game for us. And last year, we were lucky enough to pull that thing out at the very last minute with a field goal, and I'm sure that's got them, fired up. They're going to come in here to San Angelo Stadium Friday remembering that game, because they probably should have won that game. They outplayed us in that game. We had a defensive touchdown, picked up a fumble and ran it back for a touchdown, and then had to kick a field goal with no time left to win the game. So, they're going to come in here ready to go, and we've got to match that intensity.
You say their kids are a lot like your kids. What are some of those similarities?
Well, I mean, we just kind of have West Texas kids. When you travel over to DFW, you run into a little bit better athlete, a little bigger kid, and out here, we're kind of just not to be negative about it. I mean, I love our kids, and they're hard-nosed, get after you, play as hard as they can kind of guys, and that's what Abilene has too. We're just sometimes not as physically talented as some of the other 6As that we have to go play sometimes in DFW, but like I've said publicly many times, I wouldn't trade our kids for anybody, because they're fun to coach. They do what you ask them to do. They show up on time and work hard every day. I don't have to deal with a bunch of drama, and it's a lot of fun to be here. And what I mean by that is that Abilene has those same kinds of kids that show up on time, ready to go to work, and I'm sure they don't deal with a lot of drama either. It's just a little different way they're raised, or whatever you want to call it out here. There's it's just kind of the way it's always been.
Coach, hearing that UIL's kind of informed you guys that y'all may not be in a DFW district next season, how true is that, and are you buying any of that?
Well, I mean, it's not a secret. Dr. Brydup at the last AD's meeting in San Antonio publicly said that San Angelo will not be in the Fort Worth area. He didn't say where we would be. Obviously, we could still go to Killeen or San Antonio or Waco or whatever, but he did publicly say that San Angelo will not be in the Fort Worth area. So I'm taking him at his word. So I don't know where we're going to be. Obviously, nobody does. The snapshot day is October the 25th. We turn in our number, and then the way they do it now is they actually release those numbers later on, a couple of weeks later, and everyone can kind of see where everybody's at. They don't tell you what the cutoffs are. They don't tell you, what the districts are, but you can kind of look and find that where that cutoff's going to be pretty close anyway. And when you do that, then you can figure some things out. There's some rumors that Tascosa may drop. I don't know if they will or not. I don't know anything about their numbers or anything about Amarillo ISD. But if they drop, then that would certainly make it a lot easier on the UIL to put us in Abilene back out with Midland, Odessa, and Friendship. The travel wouldn't be that tough on anybody, and it would make all the sense in the world. But if Tascosa stays up, then I don't know what they're going to do. We would certainly like to be in West Texas. Those are our sister schools, long time playing each other, the closest 6As to us geographically. And it's where we belong. It's where Abilene belongs. But you never know what's going to happen. And bottom line is, wherever we're at, we're going to accept it, and we're going to work hard to win.
you guys always look forward to being back at home. How much are y'all looking forward to coming back, certainly after what happened?
Yeah, I mean, we always love playing here. I mean, it's, you know, our travel is brutal, and it is what it is, but when we can play at home in front of these big crowds like last time we played Weatherford, you know, you can't beat that. We go on the road to some really good places, and we don't see crowds like that, you know, ever. This town supports us, and it's very much appreciated. And you know, I think we put a good product out on the field. I think it's very entertaining. I think people like to come watch us play. And you know, it's a lot of fun to play in San Angelo Stadium. It's a great stadium. It's got tons of history. You know, we got great facilities here. I don't, you know, like I've told you before, I love my job, and all of that's part of it.
You're a little bit, or you are over the halfway point now in this season. What's impressed you the most about your team?
Our resiliency, you know, like coming back against Pebble Hills the way we did, fighting Weatherford off the way we did, playing Cedar Park to the very end, feeling like we should have won that game. Our resiliency has been really good, you know. The other night, you know, with about 8 minutes to go, whatever it was, I decided to put our backups in. You know, we were down 49-24 and just felt like, you know, I wanted to, for better words, you know, just save what we got, try to get to the next one healthy. And so that was me doing that. Wasn't our kids, you know. I had somebody said something to me about we might have given up or something. No, there's a big difference in giving up and knowing when to move on to the next, you know, deal. We got 4 more tough games coming up, and we got to stay healthy as we can in those games, and so that's what we did. But our resiliency of this football team is astronomical. That's what makes them so much fun to coach. Is they show up every Monday morning, you know, wanting to know what our new game plan is, and get out there and execute it and try to get better this week so we can get after the Eagles.
And as you enter the home stretch now, you know, the last several games, what sticks in your mind as far as things you need to improve upon?
Well, I mean, obviously we got to tackle better. I mean, we did not tackle well. You know, we didn't tackle well against Pebble Hills the first half. We did against Weatherford. I thought we did against Cedar Park, and you know, it kind of comes and goes. We've had some injuries in the secondary too that have kind of added to some of that, but we got to tackle better, and our receivers got to block better. We blocked really well against Weatherford, and then we go to Trinity and we didn't block so well with I'm talking about our quick game stuff where we got to get some blocks on the perimeter, and we got to do a better job of those two things. But it's not from a lack of trying. It's just we just got to get better at it. You know, we're working on that in practice, trying to do some things to get better with our open field tackling, and you know, I think we will. Yeah, I think our kids will accept that challenge, and I think you'll see a better tackling team on Friday.
We've seen Malik Finley kind of sidelined for the last few weeks. Is there ETA on this?
I don't really know one. You know, I'm not going to talk about injuries. He's not playing right now, and we're hoping to get him back before the season's over. And I know he's doing everything he can to try to get back. And he's a senior. He's a great kid. He's a 2-year starter for us as a sophomore, junior, and he's a captain on this football team. And we need him. You know, we need him on the field, and I know he's doing everything he can to get back out there. All right, guys. Thank y'all. You bet.